how do you check? Am I really doing the right thing, or am I, have I lost my way? I think it's a very important thing.
Yeah.
For people to train, because it's a muscle, right?
Yeah, it is.
Welcome to the Stories We Tell Ourselves, a podcast created and hosted by Adrian and Kausern. Join us in discovering the stories behind our thoughts, actions, and identities as we try to answer not just the whats and hows, but most importantly, the whys in life.
On today's episode, Adrian and I share our thoughts on Joker, the movie, mental health, and methods to tame our monkey brain.
So here we are. Welcome back to the Stories We Tell Ourselves, and Mr. Kausern is in town. He's been gallivanting all over the world.
Not all the world, but yeah.
But it felt like a different planet,
It is.
But that is a story for another episode, because today we are doing what I call a bandwagon episode.
What does that even mean?
Okay, so the world knows that the movie Joker was just out. So we're both chiming in today because what I thought was really interesting is that we both have slightly different experiences with the movie.
Yeah.
And we kept it. We kept the conversation. We limited our conversation about it until today. So today is going to be an episode of discovery of what we both think of the movie and what it all means.
Right.
All right. And I actually think Kausern has probably more interesting things to say about the movie than I do. So today I will be on the questioning end of the podcast. Okay, so this is how we're going to do it, alright? So we're going to talk about the Joker, or the movie Joker.
As a product itself, like as a movie itself first, right?
Yeah, we'll start with the movie. So okay, this is how I've arranged today, alright?
Okay.
So we're going to keep this a short episode.
Yeah.
So I have a rapid fire round.
Okay.
Okay? And then we'll go into the discussion, like the topics and like the bigger
which is
implications, which will be hopefully more interesting lah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So and that's where I probably will have more interesting things to say to chime in with,
Yeah.
So.
But before that, it's obviously a spoiler.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not so mindful of that, but
Yeah.
yes, there's probably going to be spoilers if you haven't watched the movie.
This is a spoiler episode. Yeah.
The whole episode today.
Yeah. So if you've not watched the Joker, or you have not watched Joker the movie, please avoid this so that you can come back to have a more pristine experience from this podcast.
Or if you're in Malaysia, we'll save you 23 ringgit because that's how much I paid for the ticket.
How so expensive?
That's how expensive it is to watch the movie now, man.
No lah, I paid less, man.
No, it's 23 ringgit. Well, at least
in PJ lah.
In Mid Valley.
Itu Mid Valley.
Oh, Mid Valley. Really?
Yeah,
I'm sure it's the same across all GSC.
No, man. No.
No, eh?
No.
Depends on the time. Depends on the size of the cinema.
Maybe because you long time never watch a movie, right? But
that is not normal or normal? 23 bucks for a movie.
It's not normal, man.
It's not, right?
No.
Okay. So it's more than usual, right?
Yeah.
So opening day price or something?
Perhaps. Not sure. Maybe they have a system to track you to say that because you have not been watching, so you're catching up now.
They have to make up for the time that they didn't make money from me,
But anyway, yeah.
That is shocking, man. I mean, I'm still in the mindset that Wednesdays are 9 ringgit, but that doesn't exist anymore, right?
No, it still exists.
Serious?
It still exists, but I don't know whether it's in 9
Malaysia
ringgit.
Boleh, man.
No, like
Malaysia, man, guys.
No,
hands down, cheapest place in the world to watch a movie in the cinema.
I think
right?
so. Remember the time we went to the Philippines?
And
we were trying to find out how
Manila.
much is it, right?
Expensive, man. It was, I think the most cheapest one we could find was like 30 ringgit, right? After conversion.
Yeah.
It was the same in Indonesia and Vietnam. I found out.
Yeah.
They also, that's the average price.
Wow. Okay.
Enough of that banter. So here we go. All right. Are you ready? Rapid fire.
Let's go.
Fire. All right. What did you like about the movie?
Oh, okay. What I like about the movie itself
We're talking about the product now.
The product itself.
The experience of the 2 hours of watching that movie.
Okay.
Okay.
I thought it was at times it was very uncomfortable to watch that movie.
Okay.
Reason being is because you are actually seeing someone who has a very fragile mind teetering and kind of like descending into madness lah.
Okay.
And to me, I know that I read some news articles out there and so on. Some people actually walk out of the movie, but to me, maybe it's the Asian in me. It's like, I already paid so much already. Right? So let's take it on, right? So I suppose it is like how, for example, where sometimes you're in the public and you see some folks who are not right lah, in a sense in terms of their mental health, or they're just not they cannot operate well in a social environment, right? And you see them, they're like probably like autism or whatever not, right? They're screaming, in the shopping mall or whatever not, and so on. To me, honestly, I feel uncomfortable, right? To be in their presence.
Okay.
It's like because I don't know how to process it.
Right.
And
how to deal with it.
Yeah, how to deal. I mean, should I be sympathetic, or should I not? Should I treat like normal, or especially and it's hard lah, So and most of the time I would turn away.
Okay.
Yeah, turn away and
avoid it lah.
Avoid
separate
it.
lah.
Yeah, sorry. That's how I process it lah.
Okay.
In a sense
Okay.
So, but in this movie itself, I cannot turn away.
Right. So, because you paid 23.
Yeah, because I paid. So I just sat down there and just watched through it. It was an uncomfortable experience,
Yeah.
Especially there's one particular scene where he was doing a stand-up comedy, right? Yeah.
Oh, the cringy.
Yeah, it was very cringy. It's like before he could start, he was laughing. Yeah, I mean that's his way to process his uncomfortableness, right?
Yes.
And it was very uncomfortable to watch that scene, right? Because it reminds even ourselves that there were moments like this in our life, right?
Yeah.
And I thought that those aspects were interesting. That's what I like about it.
Okay.
I also like, of course, the Joaquin Phoenix performance lah, in a sense,
acting,
right?
Yeah, the acting,
his acting,
right?
And so I mean, it is going into it. Of course, you expect him to be. I mean, he's a method actor lah. To be fair, right? So that's why I
was very impressed with his transformation. I thought physically, the amount of transformation he took on, right? That was like, wow.
Correct.
When I was watching, I was like, wow, could they have CG'd this? Like, maybe there were parts that were CG lah. The bruises or whatever, right? I mean, I don't know, maybe for the whatever technology they have now, right?
Yeah.
But I think he got pretty close to what he ended up looking lah. At least,
Yeah. So that bit, I mean, some compare, of course, some ask, is it how compared to Heath Ledger or whatever not, right? I think in terms of impact wise, probably Heath Ledger he has much more impact because there was a very clear transformation from a heartthrob sort of actor to someone who's like maniacal, right?
Yeah. And also at the time, the whole Batman lore, right? It was more campy and DC was shitty, right? Before the Dark Knight came around, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
So, but I kind of half expect this Joaquin Phoenix to be like this lah anyway, right? So but I agree with you in regards to the physical transformation, as well as the very fact that he is an actor who uses a lot of his body and whatever not, right, to express. You actually feel there were moments which I feel sad for him. I almost tear up for him. Yeah, there's some moments lah.
Wow.
Where
that's high praise for a movie though.
Where you can see that he's trying his best to fit in, right? To get appreciated and so on, right?
Yes.
And there's one particular scene where he was trying to take notes on the like he was trying to study other comedians, right?
Yes.
So he was trying to take notes, right? And you see the crowd was laughing, and he was like, "Hey, why is everyone laughing?" Then he laughed at the wrong moment and so on, right?
Yeah.
And it just shows that he is someone who just cannot fit, and that's very sad, in a sense, right?
Right.
I think those little things kind of like made me like that movie lah. In that sense lah.
Okay. All right. Okay, that was the rapidest fire we could do. Being podcaster, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, next. What didn't you like about the movie?
Actually, there were quite a fair bit which I didn't quite like about the movie as well.
Alright, man.
So the number one is the main problem I have is actually the references lah. Right.
Okay.
So I've not watched Taxi Driver,
okay,
but I watched clips of it before, and there were a lot of scenes which mimic that lah. Right.
Yeah.
Of course, I think it was kind of like overly
too much homage lah.
Yeah, too much. I don't think you know what homage. I think in fact it was, from what I was reading somewhere, it was kind of almost a copy and paste certain things.
Right. Too derivative of his references lah.
Especially you know the skinny bit of him, you know, like tapaka baju, you know, and
even
you know,
specific scenes like the part where he asked to be called the Joker. There was a sorry. So that was King of Comedy.
Yeah,
that was the other reference.
Yeah, the other reference, right?
Yeah. But Taxi Driver, the hand, the gun to the head.
Yes.
Reference and all that.
And him
very clear lah.
Yeah. So I didn't quite like those things because it is like I suppose
if you didn't know the references, would it have been different?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I felt that I'm jumping ahead, but so that's one, the kind of references. The other reference which I thought it was a bit forced connection was the whole Batman universe. Yeah, I thought that it was a bit unnecessary for certain things.
Yeah.
Right. For example, the iconic the
killing scene, right?
Again, you're going to show this part again, right? It's like
it's just a different take lah. Is that someone? It's like a Joker character rather than the Joker himself doing it.
Yeah, I know. But I think
that scene, right? I think the same. Yeah,
like,
I thought
it's
the
like,
same.
why do you have to? You know, there were lots of like little nice nuances, like the Arkham, so-called
the state hospital.
The hospital, whatever. That little bit is fine.
Yes.
But there were just a lot. They're just trying to force it into it. I get it that the filmmakers were probably trying to convey the message that that Joker kind of gave birth to Batman.
Yes.
In that sense, right?
Yes.
So it was because of whatever happened, you know, that it gave a domino effect, right? I get it.
Yeah.
But they may not necessarily have to kind of forced connection.
Right.
So I didn't quite like those references, like the Taxi Driver, the whole DC/Batman universe, which I didn't quite like those things.
Right.
That's the first thing reference. The other thing which I don't like is, not that I don't like it, I find it a little bit distracting, is that there were a lot of moments which was, I think they overdid it. The whole film is very beautiful to watch. I mean, as in like the cinematography, the colors,
the mood and all that.
Yeah, you know, it's just nice lah. Like very nice. It's so grainy and whatever. And it just feels like late 70s, early 80s lah. You know, it's nice to watch, right? But I felt that they were trying, like every scene, right? They're trying to create some kind of impact now. You know, it's like it was like every moment is important, right? So much so that, like, for example, like certain scenes, it was like, you know, there's one scene where the towards the end where the Joker was in the police car. It kind of felt a little bit almost like the Dark Knight, the police, a little bit, right? You know, with him, you know, it's everything must be epic. You know, it's nice to look at and so on. Just felt like
it was like let me guess, right? You're trying to say that he was trying to Easter egg the whole movie.
What do you mean?
Correct. Putting things everywhere for people to like gamify the watching experience a bit, right? Like, is this that, right?
And to me, why I thought it was distracting is because I went in with the hope as well that Todd Phillips, the director, and he also co-wrote this movie as well, that I wanted something different from him because he was doing the Hangover films and so on. Right? So a lot of people were kind of saying that this movie, you know, he really, you know, he could do such a movie and stuff like that, right? And I wanted that, you know.
I understand what you mean.
But when I went in, it's like, hey,
it wasn't far. He didn't take it far enough away from you know, like
No, it felt like this guy actually maybe he doesn't really have serious kung fu lah, because he's just copy,
Yes,
you know,
yes,
and then just make it look
yes.
nice, that kind of thing. Like, it didn't come up something original in that sense. In fact, there were some moments which was very Todd Phillips, right?
Yeah.
Like for example, that scene where Joker, Arthur Fleck just killed that guy. And then the midget, right?
The midget.
And the midget couldn't get out. I thought that's a very Todd Phillips, a very that came across much more natural.
That's true.
Than the other
the ironic humor that happened in that situation, right?
Exactly.
And he said that, and you could tell he said that because the midget was established early, right?
Yes.
Sorry, I used the word midget, but you know the little guy, right?
Correct.
But I know what you mean.
So
his payoff, like. He understood that kind of payoff, so well that it became so authentic, that scene,
exactly,
right? As opposed to the more dramatic. And the more tragic bits, right? Okay.
So that was like kind of like maybe he's actually really not such a good filmmaker when it comes to such things.
Or maybe his chops, or maybe I don't know. Do you think maybe his hands are tied a bit?
Not sure.
Being part of suddenly being part of a important franchise and all the pressure that comes with it.
Not sure. I'm not sure. Didn't really know those things. So that was kind of distracting.
But I know what you mean, like almost like a wasted opportunity, right? Because if he had the chops, that would have been a nice place to just take it out and do it right.
Exactly. So that's that one. In fact, there are two more things which I didn't quite like about it. In fact, there are much more things which I didn't like about the movie.
Okay. So the list is longer of what you didn't like.
Yeah, correct. Okay. It's longer. So the first one is references. Second thing is in regards to like every moment needs to be epic, right? Like be awed every moment, you know. So the third one which I don't quite like is in fact is actually distracting a little bit was actually Phoenix's performance itself. Well, I felt it was a bit too method. Right.
Okay.
Or maybe it was just how it was filmed, right? So the like there were close-ups of him doing that weird not structured dance.
Okay.
And there are many moments like this and so on. I mean, I get it that.
But those were also tributes, right? You realize, right? He was. It was a reference to one of.
Really?
If you see, I think it was even part of a scene where it was on television.
The Charlie Chaplin thing.
No, it wasn't. I don't think it's Charlie Chaplin. I think it was another TV show.
Oh, okay.
And it was a reference to another. I think he was the dance was developed by Joaquin Phoenix as a tribute to one of the references from Todd Phillips.
I see.
So random, yes, and a bit awkward in the sense that he's not quite a dancer, right? But it was actually quite it was mimicking another reference, But that would also make it fit to your earlier part of the list. There's too many direct references and not enough. I guess original.
Not sure.
On the thing.
So I mean the bit about him. I felt it was some scenes were a bit self-indulgent, especially that when he dyed his hair. It was just too long, the way he did it. It felt like some music video kind of thing, I mean, I get it, right? But
for the fans, for the fans,
perhaps
his hair is becoming green. He's the real Joker. So good. Fanboy.
So that bit was also, and the last thing I wanted to comment, which I didn't quite like, is actually perhaps it's something to do with the pacing of the movie.
Okay.
Yeah, if there was, I can't put my fingers to it, but it felt disjointed, certain things.
Oh, okay.
Maybe the choice of music, So there's one scene where the scene where he became kind of full on Joker. So he walked down, then he did the staircase dance thing and so on. So leading the staircase, there was this soundtrack which is used. I can't remember what it's called. It's playing in my head now. I can't sing it. It's like this like pompous sort of Then somehow. Then very weirdly, when the two policemen was at then the music just changed very. There are many scenes like this. And then I think the camera's angles were a bit off as well. Certain things like we were showing him like his left side. Next thing it shows his right side. If you so to me, it was a bit disjointed a bit
Okay.
But all in. I felt that even though I had more complaints compared to what I like about the movie, I would still give it a very high rating. because of probably the next few questions you're going to ask me about the themes.
The themes, right?
The implications of it, right?
I got one more rapid fire question.
Okay, cool.
Do you think it will get the awards?
I would say that it would. At least nominated.
Okay.
Winning or not, I'm not sure.
Okay.
I know, like for example, Academy Awards, right? They love to give people who does method acting.
Yeah.
So probably,
Joaquin will be nominated lah.
Definitely lah,
Depends who else if there was like a black transgender story, indie flick, maybe Joaquin will get snubbed lah,
So or unless leading to the awards there was some controversy lah, personal controversy, then maybe it will derail him a bit lah. But other than that, I think definitely.
Okay. I actually think the movie will probably be nominated, but based on the theme, I think they might not give it lah. I just think that the greater powers who run the world will not like the idea of this movie winning the award. But I hope I'm wrong about it. I do hope that we are able to discuss the themes of the movie openly, without having to make it propaganda or being political about it lah.
We're talking about the themes and so on, which to me is much more interesting because out of scale of 10, I give this movie a 9. Right?
Wow!
Yeah, 9 out of 10.
Okay, that was surprising to me because it didn't sound like it when
correct,
you were
exactly,
talking on the
right?
phone.
Yeah, it's 9 out of 10 is because of the very fact that I was still thinking about it. Even after the movie is ended, right? About the implications, and like what does it mean? Why are people like so sensitive about such things, right? I mean, it's the Joker lah, right? The Joker. He doesn't. It's
a movie lah,
I mean, if for those who understand Joker, I mean, he doesn't have any moral compass generally, like, and he finds it a comedy lah.
Everything's funny.
Everything is funny lah. In a sense, right? There's nothing cynical. It's just that he is the product of the society lah, right? And to me it's like this, but for some we'll get into that. So in summary, I just would like to ask you as well, the movie itself. How would you summarize your experience?
Summarize my experience of the movie?
The movie itself.
Okay. The day I watched the movie, so I saw the movie in the evening. It was like a 7 o'clock show or 7 p.m. show, right? But my day started at about 6 a.m. because I went like hiking in the morning. I did like a 5-hour hike, okay? And then after that, I had run errands the whole time. Came back Monday, and then after a long day, you feel like sleeping, right? Right? But then we already booked the tickets, so we went to watch the movie, and I did not yawn one time lah.
Okay.
So that was how engaged I was with the movie, and I don't know. Even though like months ago when we first saw the trailer, you could tell that I was like, wow, this is the movie lah. That's it lah. I never thought someone who would possibly outperform Heath Ledger as a Joker, right? But I think this can be done, You know that I was like kind of like maybe hyping up myself for the movie, right? But actually going into the movie, I was actually very sedated already, I was like, okay, we know this movie is good if we actually watch through the whole thing, if I don't fall asleep, that would be how good, right? So maybe the points that you made about how it was always there was always a moment in the movie, that it was crafted to the point that there's always something that's tense or something that's uncomfortable, right? But those things I think were designed, at least for me, it worked on me to keep me engaged, and I actually enjoyed the movie, not just, I think maybe primarily or more so as a filmmaker or as a storyteller, someone who could, someone who habitually picks out the nuances of filmmaking, the film, craft, the way the story, the way it's performed. Even though I was not thinking of those things, obviously, right? I was watching a movie for it is, right? But I felt that I was back in a headspace where I was a aspiring filmmaker, and watching something that I wish I could have done, and something that was not big enough that I could relate to, that I could possibly do myself. You know what I mean? Like, you ask me to do Chris Nolan's Dark Knight, I cannot relate to making that movie because there will never be an opportunity in Malaysia to do that, right?
Correct.
But something like like Joker,
Yeah.
is something that I could write and pull off that one if I have one good actor
Yes.
and a few decrepit spaces
Yep.
to shoot in, right?
Yep.
And I felt my headspace going back there, and that maybe engaged me so much that it kind of like took me into that space where where I really enjoyed the film culture much more
Nice.
and the fact that it's one of my favorite actors. I always thought Joaquin Phoenix is one of the most underrated actor, even though he's already recognized.
Yeah.
But I think he's just underrated. The
Yeah.
fact that you tell me like the young people don't even know him.
Exactly,
It's like,
yeah, yeah.
Who's Joaquin Phoenix? I'm like,
Yeah.
are you kidding me?
Yeah,
It's like,
it's true.
guys, come on,
It's true.
So
It's true.
yeah, but so yeah, I guess in summary, I enjoyed the movie very much. I have one question. I wasn't sure how much of censorship happened in the screening here. I know the violence was not censored, at
Yeah.
least the gunshots were all there, right? But I felt that some parts that I feel were disjointed probably had some cuts. That's why.
I see.
Yeah, So I don't know. I mean, there's no way to find out at least for us, unless I watch a US version or something. So yeah, but I felt that the parts that when I felt disjointed, I thought maybe there was a cut that happened.
I see.
So yeah.
Okay. For me, as a summary, I've given a lot of stuff, but I think for those who really enjoy this movie, at least the ones which I've spoken to, right, are the ones who, number one, don't quite know who Joaquin Phoenix is. So I think they'll be very surprised that, oh, wow, this guy is an actor.
This guy,
right?
yeah.
Just one, and then two also who doesn't know much about the whole Batman universe, right? So to them, it's like then they don't find it distracting.
Yes.
Right?
And I think maybe there was a conscious force in the production to appease these audiences as well.
Perhaps.
Because the comic book crowd is done already, They got,
Yeah.
all the shit in the world for them to watch, right?
Yeah.
But those who are not the comic bookers, right?
Yeah.
Those who are maybe more of the film, or maybe even the younger ones, right? To get I guess maybe an invitation to
I suppose.
to know some of these characters. Maybe that was partly the intention, or at least someone in the production had that intention. Whether it's the director or not, we don't know,
Regards to intention, I really felt that those who really benefited from this are the young people. I felt the young people, as in like the maybe 20-ish to early 30s. Why I say that is because number one, they don't know who Joaquin Phoenix is generally. Two, okay, maybe a very small sample. I realized that those who like it, besides them being in the 20s, they're also female. Female who likes this movie, right?
Okay.
Why is number one, they don't know who Joaquin Phoenix is. One. Two, because they don't really watch the superhero style of movies.
Yeah, that's true.
To them it's but so that's why there's not much connection.
Yes.
Right? And the third thing is because I realized that it is mainly the female in their 20s, right, who are much more interested in mental health. That also appeal to them as well, right? That aspect actually like all in, right? It's like, wow, it's like an actor such, who is this guy, and it's like, oh, is this really what superhero movies are all about? And then the very fact they tackle mental health, and of course the chaos and the riots and whatever is very current to what's happening. So I think for those who are a little bit more learned in their 20s, female, they dig this movie.
Damn it, it's a millennial movie, way.
It is. No, it's true. I felt it was a millennial movie. It's true. I felt it was.
No, but it's a very interesting point because I didn't see that way, and I didn't have the sample, the social sample to derive it from, But I think you make a very, very good points, about the how it appeals to that crowd, Because I mean, between you and me, I think as far as the non-superhero type superhero movie that we like more is Logan. Right? I thought Logan was really a really good superhero movie, right?
But it was still very male.
But it's very male, right? It's a kind of thing, right? Like this one, I enjoyed it. Maybe because there is a part of me that is also sensitive to those things, But if you ask me, entertaining, or something that that's a more like more impactful experience at the cinema, right? I mean, I felt Logan was a bigger it felt like a bigger movie, you know. But yeah, I mean the whole millennial female, that one, I think that's a really cool that one. It's a good way to segue into our longer discussions, right?
Yeah.
So okay, so you brought up mental health and all that, right? But actually, there is a theme that I thought played out very clearly, and something that I want to start this segment of our discussion with, right? Is how much do you think you live in reality, and how do you tell how much of reality you're living in? Deep, right? Kausern just stared at me and sighed, walao eh.
Pagi-pagi ni.
Pagi-pagi makan roti. Question.
Can you repeat again? even the way you laugh right now, like Joker,
got the after is coming out. In fact, actually, I went to watch with my friend, right? My friend from Singapore. Hi, Wai Sao. Hi, I'm sure you're listening to this. So on the way back in the car, we were talking about it, and I was laughing, and then it creeped her out. She said, later, whatever you do, don't laugh like this at home, okay? Because it's seriously freaking me out. I'm like, oh yeah, actually it does sound like it, you know. Okay, guys, don't worry. I'm not part of an asylum yet.
Why not you try answering the question?
Okay, so my question is this, okay? How much do you live in reality, or how much do you think you live in reality, and how do you tell? You know. So I guess my question is more about like, how do you check yourself to know that something you are processing is not just the story you're telling yourself, but there is a certain authenticity or a certain reliability in your perceptions, like in your everyday things like how do you know that it is not your projection of what you want the situation to be, do you have so I guess a simple way to put the question is, do you have a reality check method or not?
Understand. I'm just more curious, how did this question come about for you?
Oh, because I think it's about mental health, right? Because like he didn't have like the Joker didn't have a reality check method, right? He basically crashed into reality, and because reality responded to him a certain way, he just continued right? But if along the way he had ways to check his reality, right? Because for me it's basically a bigger discussion about, are we nature or nurture? Like how much of Joker do you think was created by society, and how much was it from just internally, right? Like my take on it is actually, I believe that we are all complicit. Like the fact that there is a Joker, the fact that there is Donald Trump, interesting that I put the two in the same sentence, right? The fact that we have all these conflicts and Najib Razak, is that we are actually all complicit in it happening. So for me, it's always nurture. Like I believe that kind of everyone is to blame, whether you are intentional or aware of it or not. So and I guess it just plays into the bigger theme of like, how intentional are you living, Like one moment you say, let's not use plastic straws, let's not use single-use plastic, and then when the haze comes, you buy a flight to another country, are you aware of the hypocrisy of that way, I'm not blaming people who do that, but I'm just thinking to myself, how much of that reality check do you give yourself? Or if there's a method, because I'm curious to know, like, how do you check if you are like, am I really doing the right thing, or am I, have I lost my way, like how do you know, and I think it's a very important thing for people to train, because it's a muscle, right?
Yeah, it is. That's a very good question actually, because at times we do question our sanity as well. I mean, it's like for me, I question it's like
at 9 a.m. every day. And then 7 p.m. every day after you're done, right?
In fact, that particular question would be my reality checker.
What time is it?
I mean, let's very quickly to answer that question for me, the reality checker. It's also got to do with, with the movie itself as a reference lah. So I think nature, is it a nurtured or nature, right? I think it's both for him.
Okay.
Right. The very fact that his life is terrible lah. I mean, it's like,
okay.
So to a certain extent, that the reality that he was living in is really jalak lah, So and he is, to a certain extent, is a little bit off lah, but because of all the little things that happened to him throughout, like his friends give him a gun for no reason, but actually there is a reason. Then kena laugh publicly, then kena all these things added up, right? So which created him, right? And the very fact that I think that why I say is both nature and nurture, right, is when the moment his first kill, right? He killed 3 people in the subway, right? I think most people who has a moral compass, they would like, shit, what did I do? Right? But for him, he liked it. Right? In fact, he didn't feel anything about it. Right?
And the fact that it got reported after that and that he saw it, then he finally felt validated lah.
Exactly,
his
right?
was there, right?
So that to me tells him that is a certain problem with him lah, in that sense, right? So I think for us, the danger, at least for me, is when we try to put what is wrong and what is right and what is black and what is white. I think there should be a black and white, but we need to be comfortable to live in the grey as well. Right. I think to
because
me,
black and white is just the ideals, but the reality is always somewhere in between.
Exactly.
And you need enough of a compass to know how far and how close you are to either black or white, right?
But there needs to be a compass. Right. There needs to be what is black and what is white.
Yes.
And what is grey. Right. So for Joker is because there is no compass, right? So to him, it is what it is lah. So he likes it lah. Okay, so to me, I felt that the reality checker for me is that there needs to be some kind of black and white for me, and personally for me, I've always been having problems with this black and white thing.
Oh,
yeah, it's because I have always been living in the black and white.
I see.
Yeah, I've always been living like. It's either this.
You mean your perception of how things
my
are?
My reality is.
Okay.
Right, my reality. So if anything were to happen and so on, right?
Okay.
So to me, in fact, it was lately I had this, which is I'm still processing it, right? Is I realized that while I was growing up, I don't know where this value came from. This story that I tell myself, right? That I need to be a good person. Right. So I didn't spend much time in processing what is good. So good itself to me is dependent on what society says is good. Right?
Okay.
So my parents will probably say that good means this, People say, good means it's like you don't smoke law, you don't drink law, that is good lah, right? In a sense, right?
And then in school there's pendidikan moral.
Yeah, so all these things, right, kind of form my reality of what is good, right?
Yeah.
And in fact, it was kind of like my driving factor in the sense that I have to be good. Right? I have to be a good person. So the moment I don't meet those markers, those reality checks, right? Or when I do something which is off of that, and then someone give feedback, I feel bad about it. Or in fact, it's shucks, I've broken something. It's like that means I'm not good. So it's again, it's good or bad, right? That means because this happened. Then it's like, I'm totally responsible for this, that's why I'm a bad person, right? Yeah, so it's like if it's not good, that means you're bad.
Okay.
Right? And I find it very difficult for me to process. Right? Yeah.
Traumatizing?
In fact, yeah, it's traumatizing. I mean, with like my personal stuff, which I'm not going to talk about on this podcast, it was traumatizing, right? It was because it's like, oh shucks, it's like I did something really bad.
Okay. Did you find that you were blaming yourself?
Yes, of
course. Or that
course.
you questioned the list of what is good?
No,
did you ever question the list of why is this supposed to be good?
Yeah,
why should this be good?
Initially, the first reaction, of course, is I blame myself lah. Right? Guilt, shame, and all those things, right? Then after that, you start to say, okay, but where is this coming from, right? It's because there was a benchmark, right? So then you start to ask again, okay, hang on, where did this benchmark came from? Right? And because of all these things, so right now, for me personally, I've changed my approach to life in a sense. So rather than trying to aim to be a good person, I aim to be more of an authentic person. Right? Now, authentic, whether is it good or bad, it doesn't matter, right? But I try to be true to myself.
Right.
And I feel that this is a much longer journey, right? Which is good, right? So that means it's never ending. It's always WIP, right?
Yeah.
Which is good. Versus like what is good, what is bad. Because what is good is everyone has their good and bad.
Right.
So, and then I will live. I would live for to please others. In a sense, because they have their good markers and everyone's different. To me, it's like whatever.
Yeah, you'll be kicked around a lot, lah.
Exactly.
Yeah, it depends on who is you're in contact with, right? Then the compass always changes, right?
Exactly. So
that's terrible way. Yeah.
But that's how I've been living. Right.
Wow.
Yeah. So to me, right now, it's more of like if I think that this is something which I don't think is comfortable for me, I'll just say no. Right? But those days it's very difficult for me to say no. To me, because I'm trying to please. Because if by pleasing and doing these things that people want equals to I'm a good person. Right? Because I'm obedient, etc. I mean, it's like that's how we have been taught lah. At least for me, it was if you were to do something that people ask you to do, especially older people, the first thing that comes from the mouth is like, "好乖啊你."
Yeah.
You know, it's like,
你真係乖㗎仔.
That kind of thing, right? 好聽話. Right, yeah. So those reinforces the beliefs, right, that we have.
Yeah.
Right? So that's kind of where I am right now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's interesting, man. Because like I think maybe between the two of us, maybe or at least environmentally, I might appear to be someone who's more exposed to mental issues.
Yeah.
In the sense that being creative field, being in the I don't have a 9 to 5, and and that I'm constantly meeting like really weird characters in my life. Interesting. Of course. But I realized lately that I start to have meditative moments throughout the day. So I think it's a muscle that I've been building for some time, and I find that the meditative moments are the ones that help me ground myself. It could be actual meditation. But I find that the ones that really affect me the most are like when I'm actually going into nature. So like hiking, hiking in the jungles or going to the mountains somewhere, or sometimes even just watching YouTube. Like I just spent like 45 minutes yesterday watching a guy hiking alone in one of the national parks in the US, right? And it was he was documenting everything. Like I felt transported there, and then he was very reflective because he was alone, right? So he only had the camera to talk to, So he's very contemplative and all that. Like I felt those meditative moments really put things into perspective for me, because throughout the day, throughout your work life, throughout your your aspirations, right? You get frustrated with things, right? You get tense, you get emotional about things, right? Tensions of dealing with family, like those things, they build up, even though we accept that it's always there, but it builds up, right? And then it manifests itself in some kind of unhealthiness lah, right? Whether it's a physical pain or just a bit of frustration. Sometimes you become snappier with people, in terms of, right? So I find that happens to me, right? But I find that just spending time in some kind of meditation or some kind of calming experience puts a lot of the perspective back. That's how I check myself, in the sense that because all these voices in my head lah. So maybe my Joker laugh is not an accident lah. But all these voices in my head. After a while, I realized they talk about like what I don't like about certain kinds of people or certain behaviors, or you watch the news and then you're very cynical about like certain things, like and you know me, right? There are things that I'm very somehow very let's put it this way, I have very very interesting opinions on lah, right? In a sense, right? Yeah. But I realize they don't matter as much once I go into meditation, or I go into a hike, or I go into nature, and it doesn't take that much, to be fair. Like 30 minutes in a waterfall, that's like, you put things in perspective, then suddenly I'm like, you know what? I shouldn't have been so snappy. It was really just, it's not as big a deal as I thought. When I was experiencing it, right? And then that has been very tremendously helpful, because I'm able to deal with people better in that sense. Being an introvert for me is very difficult to because it takes a lot of energy for me to deal with people, right? And when you are with family, when you're on a long trip, when you are with groups of people that have their own personalities and all, right? It's all these personalities to deal with. For a person like me, it's very tiring. Like I always, like for me, is after a weekend somewhere, right? I always have to spend one whole day at home alone. Right?
Sure.
Like I cannot like suddenly, like I go back. The next day it's like meeting, work, shoot, right. For me, it's like come back, do nothing. Yeah. I turn on a nature YouTube, that one, or I play my guitar. Like for me, that unwinding is very important, and I think giving yourself space to do it is very important. So in this modern life, right, we tend to pack things together, because it's like, I have to make it somehow. I got this goal to achieve. My boss got these deadlines, that kind of stuff, right? And I think we forget to give ourselves that mental health check. To put that, okay, I think I need this break. And break doesn't mean you have to book yourself into a nice fancy holiday.
Understand?
In Bali or something.
Right.
Like
or India.
Or India. Shit, man, this laugh. Okay. I'm gonna try to laugh less in this. Okay. We're thinking we are taking this Joker theme thing very seriously. I'm method podcaster.
Okay.
Okay. Let's go. I think it was enough ranting.
Let's still want to talk about this topic. It's very interesting. Maybe I'll ask you. Okay. Like you brought up a few things which actually help someone to manage the onslaught of the pressures of life, right? So you talk about hiking, you talk about meditation, you talk about playing music, right? Just watching YouTube and so on. Besides all those things, maybe like if you were to advise someone to be able to process through, right, in this modern life, what would be the top 3 or at least 3 to 4 things that they can do?
Okay, I think number 1, be in touch with nature. Yeah, I think that is very underrated. It's something that we take for granted, especially in KL, because we are actually surrounded by a lot of nature. These last few years I've discovered that we are so close to so many amazing nature experiences in KL, and you are like 30 minutes drive, 15 minutes drive away. Like surprisingly close. So I think I'm very grateful for that, in a sense. Whatever policies and all that has been enacted for the way we develop our cities, right? Yeah, I think it's been very good. The preservation is very good. So get yourself to nature as I think as much as you can. Secondly, I think maybe some kind of artistic outlet. I think it focuses the mind, so it's a kind of meditation as well. So you can also maybe if you want, you can just learn meditation lah. That would be the other thing lah. But something that focuses your mind on a very simple, better if it's creative, I think. Because creativity takes energy, and it also energizes you as well. Because the act of creation, I think there is a kind of like cyclical, where what you put into comes out, and then you kind of like amplify it, and it gets bigger. Even though sometimes it might be tiring, the logistics of it might be tiring, but I think the rewards are there.
Nice,
and
nice.
that kind of meditation.
Yeah.
And I think the third one, which I also discovered, something that I've always gravitated towards, but I never thought much about it, only recently, right? Is that I like to be around kids.
Oh.
So kids, I think there is a part about being around kids that lets your guard down. And I think maybe the lesson here is about letting your guard down. Finding a person that you can let your guard down with.
Interesting.
So some people maybe use their relationships for that. If you find someone that you're so comfortable with that your guard is always down with that person, you can be silly, you can be you can be authentic with that person, you can be disgusting, or or you can be very artistic, or whatever gets your
interesting.
your thing going right. But being around someone where you can let your guard down. It could be a pet as well. Like usually when you're around like your pet, or there's always that playful part of you, and I think I find that very refreshing for mental health, because like now I'm at an age where my cousins, my siblings and all that, they all have young kids, right? And they're not babies anymore. So babies is a different thing. Babies maybe closer to a pet, but like they are kids that are like kind of little humans already, right? And that experience to interact with them makes it very they remind you of all the things that you care about in life, why you're doing it,
Right.
You know what I mean? It reminds me of this this quote, interestingly enough, during World War II, Winston Churchill. Again, I think it was a really interesting quote. I hope it's true lah. It's something I heard on the internet, right? But someone asked before the war, asked him if they because they were running out of funds, could they cut funding to the arts to reallocate to the military? And Winston Churchill said no, because if we cut these things, the funding, resources to this, right? What on earth are we fighting the war for?
That's
so
powerful.
it's kind of like that, like for me is, I'm doing all this, I'm earning this money, I'm building this podcast, I'm building this YouTube channel, I'm teaching and all that, right? I'm fighting about, climate crisis, or political, justice and all that, right? Then I think about it. If you are just interested in the fight, then actually you're missing the point. Why are you fighting, right? It's very important, the why again, right? We always end up with the why, right? And then when you are with a child, or when you are with a happy pet or something, right? Then you realize this is why we want life to be good, so that you can have these moments. They are happy, you are happy. Last thing you want is a miserable kid in a miserable world, right? It's like So I think those things really put things into perspective for me.
Wow.
So so 3 lah.
Okay.
Right.
Any other thing besides this 3? I thought the third one was the most interesting for me. I mean, I've heard like the first 2. In terms of like just walking, especially in nature, that helps, or exercise basically. But just the very fact that walk, meditation is a big one. Then I also heard of the food intake, right? So you like for example,
how you eat,
you cut down on sugar and all these things will actually help you, all these things, right? But the one they talk about just letting your guard down, I thought it's very powerful to me lah. It's because you are exposing your vulnerable self. Because we are in a society, when you go out there, right, you always have to put on this persona, right? This projection of yourself, and it's tiring lah. Right?
And we become not aware of how much energy we spend holding up that guard.
Interesting.
I mean, another angle or another aspect to this guard, right? Is that in the Buddhist practice that I've been following, there is a lot of emphasis on that, and I think it's from the church tradition. Where there is in the Buddhist world, they call it the Sangha. Basically, it's the tribe, the group of people that you basically are constantly connected to, and you're constantly open with. The key point being open, right? Because the idea is to be able to let your guard down and the group provides that safe space, right? So I think maybe the reason why it's interesting is because it's not always available to people. You know, like think about it. Arthur Fleck didn't have a safe space to do it, right?
Exactly.
He was looking for it, right?
Yeah.
He didn't find it with the clowns, and then he found out he couldn't find it with his mom,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You know, he couldn't find it in society. Everyone was right?
In fact, that particular the imaginary relationship that he has,
Exactly,
right?
right?
I mean, it shows that every time he smiles, so he's really happy, is when he gets so-called validated by the girl.
Yes.
Right, the girl will hold him, they say it's okay, whatever, not right? So he feels happy about those things, right? And or when the Robert De Niro's character says that, you know, I wish that I have a son like this, and so on. Every time he warms him up in a sense, and these are all in his head.
Yes. And I think, right, between him craving that validation and warmth of a relationship, and as opposed to his validation from the public attention of doing that one, right?
Yeah.
If you really think about it, right, they're actually both the same thing, you know. They actually both stem from the same thing, you know. The idea that you want to feel safe and authentic, you know.
Yeah.
You know, because with the girl he could let his guard down. It's a safe space. He can manja. He can, you know, he can be human. You know, right? But because his situation is such that he was pushed into that other side, right? But ironically, right, it's also very authentic. You know, because that nature part of him that you were saying, right, the psychopath, right? You know, and all the negative energy that has formed him in all his years, right, found its connection, you know, and he found its connection in violence. But interestingly, which is also part of the topic that I wish we could discuss next, right, is the energy, the hatred is directed towards the elites, right? Directed towards the rich, basically, right? The hashtag kill the rich, or they did hashtag like it was 1981, right? But you know the theme, right? So like you know, we probably have like a good you know, run so far. So probably I'm sure it's a topic we can always discuss as well. You know, over, you know, but so maybe we will go to summary. Right? What did we learn today? You know.
Okay.
Could be from the movie or could be from the discussion after, you know. So maybe you should start. I've been talking for a while.
For me, I think the very fact that I think again that last point that you gave about the third point about letting a guard down and so on, I think that itself perhaps is kind of like a road to recovery for me, to a certain extent, right?
Okay.
So, you know, in fact, like talking publicly, you know, I mean, in fact, probably right now I'm going to go on public, right? In a sense that I went through a divorce and so on, right? I mean, it's something which I felt was very shameful.
Okay.
Right, I never talk about those things, right, in public and so on. So I always hide it and whatever not and so on, right? But I realized that the more I talk about it, or at least I put it out there, it has less power over me. In a sense, it's like, you know, so it is what it is, right? Of course, you know, it is still something which is not fully accepted by the public and so on, right? But yet, I realized that the road to recovery, in a sense, is when you put it out there, you talk about it and so on, right? Then you become a more authentic self, to me, you know. By putting my guard up and all these things and so on, actually it's very tiring, right? So I think I'm glad that you brought up that point about about mental health, right? So that bit about like you just have to be true to yourself, like in that sense, it's like, you know, being around, you know, the people that won't judge you, right? I mean, your pets won't judge you, right? Unless you have a cat, But they always judge. Or you know, but or babies, or I mean like kids, in a sense, right? I mean, they accept you for who you are, right?
Yes.
So I think those things, because if I don't usually talk about my issues and so on, you know, it's because you tend to know that, hey, they probably come with a certain baggage, or they may have a certain judgment. That's why I don't really talk about these things. So so that is one of the lessons which I thought was interesting. To surround yourself, or at least just be open to be punched in the face lah when you talk about such things lah. And rather than not talk about it, I would rather build up a certain way to manage these things, my emotions in a sense, right? So rather than not talk about it, right, I bottle up, but I rather talk about it, but yet have a certain certain way to process it when people give me feedback, right? To say that hey, actually it's not that you're not good or whatever. That okay, it's just feedback, right? It's not personal attack, whatever, and so on. Don't be too sensitive about it.
I think that the point that how I would express what the point you're trying to make, right, is that you yourself shouldn't join the army of people judging yourself. At the very least, you should be your own safe space.
Correct.
And we don't always do that. Actually, we are not aware of how much judgment we pass on ourselves.
Exactly. I mean, I think you said it once before, and I've read it many times. It's just to be compassionate to yourself, lah. So that was what I got from this today, lah. How about you?
I actually thought it was interesting that you brought up the demographic point about the movie, because strangely enough, gives me a bit more hope, a bit more restoring faith a bit, in the so-called next generation, right? Because that oftentimes I wonder if if I was going to war, would I want to be next to these people? Would they have my back? But I think and this also brings back to me one of my favorite quotes is that and this from Sadhguru, so maybe one day for those of you who are interested, you can YouTube him, he's all over YouTube.
Shout out to
Sadhguru, man. Hey Sadhguru, come here on podcast, right? So anyway, is that that we all of us are doing things, right, in assumption that it's for our well-being, right? So our assumptions or our perspective, so to speak, right? Our perspective of what's our well-being, right? If you look at Joker, right? Everything he tried, right, was logical. It was things that I would be doing in his situation, right? And he does it because at that point, that was the decision that he made for the best of his well-being, I mean, later it got darker, right? But for most of it, in fact, for most of us, most of the villains, most of the heroes in history, right? They all did things that they thought were the best for everyone's well-being, especially including themselves, right? So, and I think that because of hearing that, about the young millennial girls and all that, right? That they have those concerns, right? To me, that means that there is a hope for the emphasis to deal with injustice, to deal with mental health, right? The fact that they consider those things, they've put them on the radar of what is considered well-being, and I think that's important because I think society is always on a rocking boat, and the way things are going, you can see, the boat is rocking harder and harder, right? But we all know with rocking boats, once it passes the threshold, it capsizes, right?
Yes.
So, and I think what I felt when you said about this young generation caring about these things, right, is they are trying to balance out the rocking so that the boat does not capsize, and hoping that it doesn't capsize, and I think that's nice to know, and I think while they might be interested, and I think they need the tools to pursue it for sure, and I think they need to be allowed the space to do it, because what I think has happened is that we are just filling up our days and our minds, right, with all these inauthentic objectives in life, goals in life, I got to get rich, I got to buy this house, I want to have this car, I want to own this thing, I want to have this many kids, I want to have this kind of holidays, right? That template, right, of what it means to live a good life, right? To have good well-being in your life, right? You must have all these things, right? And I think questioning those things are important, because, I grew up with those values, and, I've decided that most of them are not exactly right, or maybe no longer relevant. Maybe last generation, that was what it is, right? But I think it's no longer relevant. A lot of them are no longer relevant. And that's of course my opinion. But people have to question it. That's my point. It's you don't just take it as face value, because you'll find one day you wake up and you have all of it, and then you've destroyed so much of the world and cut out so many forests, right? And then you decided that actually it's not as great as I thought. Damn it, it's too late now, let's kind of like check in early enough, right? So that the boat doesn't capsize lah.
Got it.
And I think we are all coming close to the boat capsizing, and I think that's why a movie like Joker was made. Because it shows you what capsizing happens, and when capsizing happens, what society will become,
Right.
And I think, to me, I think that is the the impact of the film for me. Why I like it so much, right, is that it is giving you a preemptive look into what happens if society capsizes, the boat of society capsizes, and I think, that would be how I would, summarize this, and
cool.
end today's topic.
Right. So thank you. So indeed, for those who are still with us after almost an hour, Joker is indeed a provocative film. With the very fact that after like almost a week of this film being released, we're still talking about it and the implications of it. And in fact, we dedicate a podcast just for it, right? And the topics that came out from it. So for those who have not watched it, we encourage you to watch it. It's not a feel-good film. In fact, it is a disturbing film. But sit through it, watch it and process it. You may definitely feel a certain things which you have not felt before. I think it's very good to ask those questions rather than sweep it down or sweep it under the carpet lah. So I think this probably will be our 10th episode in. First of all, just with gratitude, thank you for the listeners who've actually listened in, subscribe,
give us feedback. Thank you, please. Please
thank you.
Give us more.
Appreciate it. I mean, without you guys, we wouldn't be able to create such content. So continue to rate, review, so that we can get
challenges as well.
So we are again available in most major podcasts, and please subscribe to us if you find we are delivering value to you. With that, thank you for tuning in.
Ciao.